Hey everybody, come on in. We're going to do a Yankee show. We're going to hang out for a little while, talk about some stuff, kick some things around. You know how this goes. This is me on things and stuff. We're between names. So this is a random show. What this is a show where I talk about a few things that are on my mind, and then the audience takes us wherever they want things to go. So come on in, like and share, that's most important. And if you're here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and subscribe to our channel to stay up on our videos and future content. But thanks for coming. This is the Yankee Show, me on things and stuff, whatever we end up naming this show. But this is an audience participation and an open discussion show. So please comment, please take part in the show, please join in the discussion and all of that. But we're going to start off today with a little segment that I like to call Yankee Rants. I got some things on my mind I want to rant about. The biggest one right now, the main one, the one I'm going to start with, is sheep. The people that we refer to as sheep. They are very frustrating. I am getting extremely frustrated with them. I always have been. I try to be patient. I try to keep in mind that it's not even their fault that they are so brainwashed and so indoctrinated that they can't even think for themselves. I try to keep in mind that it's not their fault. So much has been done to make them that way. They're up against so much. So I try to keep that in mind. I try not to judge them or view them in a negative light because I understand what they're up against. I get it. But it's hard. Sometimes it's very hard not to hold them personally accountable for what's going on, for what's happening, because they are literally holding back society. They are keeping us from moving things forward by buying and eating up this bullshit that's fed to them every day. And it's dangerous. It has actual repercussions that we deal with on a daily basis that I would like to see come to an end. But it won't happen until more people wake up. Now, the good news is there is a mass awakening happening, and we're part of it, and that's all great, but I really wish it would hurry the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? It really needs to pick up the pace because these people, these sheep, there's too many of them. We have to reach a point where we've overcome a certain number. It's not everybody, so rest easy. We don't have to wake up everybody, but we got to get about 3% pointed in the right direction. We could do that. We could do literally anything we want to do. There is nothing we couldn't accomplish if we could get that many people together moving in one direction. That's why the elite and the powerful do so much to keep us separated, and why they spend so much energy and so much time and so many resources into keeping everyone dumb as shit. They keep the population completely stupid, so they can't do anything. They don't even know what's going on. They have no idea what's really happening in the world. So how could they possibly affect it? How could they do anything towards making any kind of change in the world when they don't even understand the true state of things, how things really are, why things are the way that they are? They don't get any of it because they're completely misinformed and they eat it up with a spoon. So you try not to be mad at them for it, but this is the age of information. We are literally cyborgs. Every one of us is walking around with a computer in our pocket. So the stupidity is mind numbing and maddening because at a certain point, it's willful. You have to be willfully ignorant in the age of information. You're walking around with the ability to Google literally anything you want. And by the way, don't use Google, use something else. I don't know why I referenced it. I guess because, like, if I was going to mention cola to you, I would probably say Coke because we're programmed. I fall victim to it myself. I just did. But to let it rule you, to not be able to see past it, is frustrating. even though I get what they're up against. I get that they're heavily brainwashed, heavily indoctrinated, and that's a lot to dig through. That's a lot to sort through. That's a lot to unpack. I get all of that, but you got to wake up. A lot of these people, most people are good, at heart. There's a lot of evil, but most people I think are good. They have good intentions, they mean well, and they would maybe be in our fight and moving in our direction towards making real change and taking down this greed that lords over us if they understood what was really happening, if they were aware. But they think that they are. You understand? They watch the news every night. They think they're more informed than I am because they watch Rachel Maddow. Or if they don't like that flavor, they watch Tucker Carlson or whatever else is on Fox. I don't even know if Tucker Carlson is. I just threw a name out there that I thought was right wing. So they watch whatever and they think they're informed. What they're really getting is establishment approved narrative delivered by a talking head mouthpiece. There's no such thing as real reporters and real journalism anymore. It doesn't exist. It stopped existing. Thought I caught it. You see those little things? They're everywhere. And it's like 8 degrees here. So all kinds of little things are trying to get in out of the cold. I understand that. But I just realized you can see them. I thought they were so small you couldn't even see them. I don't even know what they are. They're bugging the hell out of me. That's what they are, for sure. But the stupidity, though, it's maddening. And it's got to stop. We're running around screaming and yelling that the house is on fire, but these people remain oblivious because they believe that lying, flickering little box in their living room. They let it control them and control their view of reality. So we literally do live in a matrix. We live in a matrix of lies at the bare minimum. Later on in my notes, I've got that written down to talk to about reality itself, and maybe that's a matrix, but we do live in a matrix of lies. That's created and manufactured by the propaganda machine. We understand that, and we know that that's what they're up against. And we do need to keep that in mind and be patient with them, because we're not going to wake them up by shaking them awake. That's just going to shut them down. You throw a bunch of truth in their face, they just close off. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to believe that stuff. And I get it. I understand. I get not wanting to believe that all this evil is going on in the world, but it is. So closing your eyes to it doesn't stop it, it enables it, it helps it happen. So stupidity is holding us back, literally. If it already makes you mad, then now it's going to make you even more mad. Because everything that we could have that we don't have is because people have remained willfully ignorant when they could inform themselves and they could learn and we could grow and we could advance. But no, people would rather be entertained. They don't really want real news. They don't. You know, I say they have good intentions, and they do. I'm not trying to say bad things about humanity. I'm just saying people in general are comfortable with the way things are. They tolerate everything that they don't like, or they look away from it and they ignore it. It's not even all the way that they don't know. It's just that they haven't taken ownership of it. They feel like that's just the way things are, or that's just the way things are there, and it doesn't happen to be here because of this, and this. Whatever their flickering little box in the living room told them is the reason for this, and this. That's what they believe. That's what becomes true to them. So that's how they deal with it. That's how they live with it. That's how they make peace with it. And it's really just a mess. It really is. It's completely out of hand and needs to be brought to an end. And I try. I think that the way we do it, the way we wake people up, is to inform them, to get out and inform them as much as we possibly can in every way that we possibly can. Every opportunity that we get, just inform people as much as possible. Wake them up with the truth. But we're going to have to be careful and surgical with the ways that we do that, with how we spread the truth. So if we try to shake everybody awake, I think we're going to rattle them, you know? Liz says you have a friend that made fun of you because you get info from the internet. Where else would you get it? That's where all the information is. Information lives online. We can inform ourselves. You can learn about any topic, you know? One of my favorite movies is Good Will Hunting, and the main character, informs himself and educates himself completely just with books from the library. You can literally do that online. You could do that. You can educate yourself on any subject that you want online. The internet is a beautiful resource for now, if we protect it. That's something else I could rant and rave on, but I have before. If you want to hear more about it, I could definitely rant about corporate censorship and the death of truth. That's happening. So it's becoming less of a resource, but it still is a fantastic resource that I use every day. And I think it's a blessing. It's also a weapon, though. But Liz says she gets her info from mainstream media. Well, there was a time when that was news, when that was real, when you could turn on the TV and there were reporters and journalists. But that time was long ago, decades ago. It was taken over a long time ago and changed into a weapon that they used to mislead everyone and spread propaganda and lies and drive the narrative and the views of society and hold everyone back. That's what it's become now. But they think it's the truth. They believe it. You know, they don't see it as entertainment. In other countries, our news, like Fox and stuff like that, has to be labeled entertainment, can't be labeled news. I wish I could list off the examples. Maybe somebody here could. Hey, Kilo, good to see you. Showing the daytime listening at the shop? Yeah, I wanted to do something during the day. Isn't the lighting good? That's sunlight. It's through the window. It's like bright as hell. It snowed here, so it's like white and just bright outside. But there's nothing to do. Um, it snowed about 8, 9 inches. And my roads, I live in the country, in the rural part of Missouri, and they're still white. My road is white. I'm not going anywhere, basically. So I felt like we should hang out. This is research day, and I'm done. I finished. I have this week's video done for Conspiracy Theories and Chill, and next week's done. But I want to get into later some ideas from you guys on things we can talk about in upcoming Conspiracy Theories and Chill, because I'm going to get a head start. I'm going to get on top of these. These are hard. One new video a week is what we do on Conspiracy Theories and Chill. By the way, maybe I should explain what that is. That's a conspiracy theory show that we do on Me and Things and Stuff, the YouTube channel and the Facebook page, my timeline. We do a show every Wednesday night at 8. And this Wednesday night, we're covering the Jasons. And it's very interesting. I hope you'll come at 8 on Wednesday night on my timeline on Facebook and on Me on Things and Stuff here on YouTube and watch it. And I made a video for you. It's a short video. And we're going to go way into the Jasons and explore that topic. It's very interesting. And then next week, I remade the Titanic video. The Titanic video from the YouTube channel, it's one of my most popular videos on the YouTube channel. It's the Titanic swap conspiracy, and I remade that one in full. So that's coming up next week on Conspiracy Theories and Chill. But after that, I don't have a topic picked yet. I'm looking at different ones. I have a list written down, so I'm going to talk about that more. But I got a little more to rant about. And I just wanted to talk about the stupidity problem real quick at the beginning. I wanted to go on about that, but the things that are also holding us back are things like peer pressure and conforming to social norms and things like that. Like I hold myself back at times because I'm afraid, like I even know I have a conspiracy theory show, I'm afraid of being like looked at like an Alex Jones. I don't want to look at like I went too crazy or anything like that. But why should I care what anybody thinks? And why should I let that hold me back? Can't let that drive you. You can't let that guide you. 'Cause you won't end up anywhere but where everybody wants you to go. If you only ever do or think about what's approved and, agreed upon, you're never going to learn a single thing. You're never going to grow or anything like that. So I'll prefer to live the way I'm living. I think something really weird is going on. There's a weird phenomenon, but I've been getting throttled for a while, and something weird's happening with Facebook. But they got some new stuff on Facebook. They got a new streaming system over there, and I'm still learning it, but it's working out a little weird. But let's see. But stupid people, can we get back to stupidity just for a moment, and then we'll move on? We'll move on after that. Stupid people are everywhere. I have found that they are literally everywhere, and they're breeding at frightening levels. This is getting out of hand. We, this awakening that's happening, it's great that it's happening, and I'm thrilled to be part of it and alive while it's occurring. But it needs to pick up, and it is happening all over the world. They are rising up all over the world. It's not just here, and there is a rising up happening here. And that's exciting. It's fun to be a part of it while it's going on. But I hope it happens fast enough. I hope it grows fast enough. I feel it has the momentum too, and that if we do all we can get it there. But time will tell, I suppose. People think I'm crazy also. I don't think I'm crazy. People do. Maybe they're right. I'm going to catch this thing. Mr. Miyagi style. I'm going to catch it with, I'm going to get me some chopsticks and I'm going to catch it. Liz says it's too late to worry about what people think about you. We are dying. No, yeah, I don't care anymore. And I'll cover anything. And actually, recently on Conspiracy Theories and Chill, we covered the flat Earth, and I covered it just because I wanted to establish that we'll cover absolutely anything on this show. I'm a contrarian. I I I don't believe in the flat Earth theory, but I believe that there's reasons that the flat Earth theory exists. You see what I'm saying? We should be able to talk about it, just like we should be able to talk about anything. Like I interviewed Ali French from MM. I'm never going to remember the name of her organization, but she's against mandatory vaccinations, and that's when I started really getting heavily throttled, and it didn't really take off on YouTube because it's not a popular topic. When I was practicing or getting ready for the interview with her, I was trying to research it myself, and everything is buried about vaccines except the official accepted scientific stuff. That's all right on top. But you have to really dig to get to anything negative. Well, that's odd. That's weird. But it's not when you understand that all the information is controlled and owned and guided by the establishment, and they're doing all they can to eliminate the internet's usefulness, and hopefully they don't succeed. I'd hate to see them be successful in stifling what is the tool that's driving this awakening. The internet, which is funny that people would mock you, Liz, for listening or looking for things like on the internet, is a fantastic resource, unlimited potential. For now, again, we need to protect it. It's being killed off. Our access to it and its ability to be effective as a way to spread truth is being destroyed in real time. They're doing all they can to eliminate it. Kilo says I've done quite a bit of research on that Tic Tac UFO. Pretty wild stuff. Tic Tac UFO. Tic Tac, Tic Tac. Oh, the Tic Tac shape. That's what you're talking about. Sorry. It took me a second to get there. Yeah, the UFO phenomenon is extremely interesting. I've been looking at it from a couple different angles actually. For That's where actually the Jason's story came from, It came from doing research for a different thing that had to do with UFOs, and it grew into the Jasons because the Jasons are a secret society of scientists that exist and they're real, which is why I ended up making the video about them to begin with. I found out that they're real. And it's a secret society of all the most elite and most respected scientists in the country that are in charge of guiding the narrative. And this is very interesting. This opens a lot of doors. That's why I thought it was a fascinating topic to get into on conspiracy theories and chill. Because I've heard a lot of researchers get mocked for mentioning the Jasons. But the fact that there is a conspiracy of these scientists open and creates the possibility for everything. How do you fake the moon landing? You get all the scientists in a secret society and you get them on board with your agenda. You can do literally anything with that. Like how do you convince everyone about vaccines and push that agenda? You get literally every scientist in a secret society, you know, and it's not every scientist, but it's a lot. We're gonna get into it on conspiracy theories and chill tomorrow. What day is it? Yeah, tomorrow night. Wednesday night at 8 p.m. is conspiracy theories and chill. Hey Slace, how you doing? We're doing a daytime thing today. We're hanging out. But Kilo says watch lengthy interviews of pilots involved and they were blown out. There is a lot of information out there and a lot has been released that the Air Force and the Department of Defense are admitting is real. They've even released some video, radar of them pursuing UFOs. And they are acknowledging now that they deal with this. I think because they're heading us towards some kind of a disclosure, but I think that what they show us as aliens when they do this won't be aliens. Not aliens in the way that you might be thinking of an alien from outer space. Like, I don't think that's what we're going to see. But I don't think that's what aliens are to begin with. I think aliens are interdimensional beings. That's only my personal opinion, just based on what I think. But what tomorrow we're going to get into is the Jasons, and tune in for that at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Liz says, I find that Google has been slanted since 2015 with the introduction of Hillary Rodham Clinton into the race for president. Try DuckDuckGo. That's a good one. There's another one. What's the name of it? Where they plant trees for each search that's done, and that's a really good one too. But there's other ones. I can't think of any right now. I'm going completely blank on it. I hate when my mind fails me, but it does that. Slay says we have had cattle mutilation here. No, that stuff happens. That stuff goes on. That's real. There's a lot to the UFO stories. That's why they've survived and thrived for so long. That's why they've kept up for so long and stayed a consistent thing because there is a lot there. There is a lot there to look at and to explore. And that is very interesting. But that's not exactly what we're going to get into tomorrow, but we can. The video focuses on the Jasons, just that there is this secret society of scientists. And that's what we're going to look at in the video. But then afterwards, we can, because that can explain a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? How do you drive the narrative? How do you control what's in textbooks? How do you do all this? How would you hide big truths by getting all your most respected scientists on board? So that's going to be the thing we talk about tomorrow. But the UFO stuff is fascinating, and stuff like cattle mutilation and the stuff that they've admitted, the UFO stuff that they've admitted that is real, and just the stuff that exists that they don't admit to. Like with the Jasons, it has a branch off that we've covered before on Conspiracy Theories and Chill of the Majestic 12. And if you're into UFOs, you may have heard of them. They're a part of the Jasons. Kilo says some sightings are experimental aircraft, but others don't know. Yeah, who knows? I think that most of the things that we're thinking about as UFOs are craft that exist that are so far advanced that we wouldn't even understand them. We couldn't begin to understand them. I think they have stuff that would literally look like magic to us, and it does. And when we see it, we think it's a UFO. We think it's something interplanetary. But I think that what these things really are things that exist right here on this planet that they hide from us. And that's the other interesting thing about, keeping all the scientists in this secret society. You can control what people know, what people learn, and what information gets out. So it's interesting, and we're going to go into it. But what would you guys like to see on upcoming conspiracy theories and chill? Like, I'm going to work on something having to do with Mandela's. I don't know what it's going to be. I flirted with a couple different ideas for Mandela videos, like Mandela's in the movies and Mandela's in literature, things like that, or just a list of 100. Like, just go big and do like a list of the 100 best Mandela videos or Mandela examples. But what do you guys even think of the Mandela effect? And what are some of your favorites? Because I am thinking about it. I got it on the back burner, that 100. I think I want to go for that. But Kilo says oh, that's the same comment. I almost read the same one twice. I've done that before. Something weird is happening on Facebook. I'm gonna go ahead and acknowledge it, but there is no one here. Nobody. And I don't think that's true because that's just super odd. You know, this is a weird time to be doing a feed, but that is super odd. We got people here on YouTube though, and an active conversation going on. So come to YouTube and join in. It's where the cool kids hang out anyway. But other things that I had written down to cover on upcoming conspiracy theories and chill is 5G as a topic. And the theme would be that what if 5G is literally just a weapon? You know, literally. It's not about technology or technological advances or faster downloads or better internet at all. That what if it's literally just a weapon? And these other things that it does are just neat selling points. But what it's really for is depopulation. We really wouldn't know till it's over. They've done no real testing on it, and they don't know what it'll do. Every time they test it out, there's these mass reports of these birds dying in mass and insects and bees. They don't know what this is. So I was thinking about covering that in an upcoming video. But some of that stuff's hard because I'm not a scientist. You know, it might surprise you and blow you away, but I'm actually just a stand-up comic that is interested in conspiracies and interested in the truth and likes doing videos for you guys. But it's hard to do those because they're so complicated. Some of the science there. But that's where they hide the truth on you. They get the regular people confused. So trying to dig through it and doing a video would be good. Another one I had written down is the RFID to get into on upcoming conspiracy theories and chill. Or another topic is what would happen if the power grid went out? What would happen? How long do you think it would take for chaos to erupt? And these are just some topics I wrote down that I had in mind to cover upcoming. Let me know if any of those interest you, or if what topics you would like to see covered on upcoming episodes of Conspiracy Theories and Chill. Kilo says other channels on YouTube are complaining of being throttled. Oh, it's bad. It's real bad. On Facebook, I'm almost completely shut down. I may be completely shut down. I may be in Facebook jail again because there's no one here. Nobody. And it hasn't been for a long time. And there's been no comments. And we've been going for 32 minutes. And it's very active over here on YouTube with just 3 people. So that's very odd. And then we should be more active on YouTube, quite frankly. We are being throttled. It's just the reality of things. We're going to talk about truth. I'm marked for that. You know, this is just fun. We're talking about a little bit of everything, and it's what this is. This is just random conversation. But we might drop some truth, you know what I'm saying? So I'm throttled. I know that, and I've kind of come to accept it. It's frustrating, being how I'm trying to do this professionally. I'm now a professional live streamer, and we do, a few little shows. So it's frustrating to me, but it's something that we're up against, something that we'll have to fight through. And I'm going to keep punching, and I will punch through it. I know that. And so it is happening, though. It's real. These people that are talking about being throttled, they're right. They are. They're being shut down, and they're open about it. If you really look in the news and in the stories that are released, they talk about how they're shutting us down. They're censoring the truth in real time. We can't let them. We need to be careful here. What's happening with this is really dangerous. And if we let them keep going, they will make it to where the truth is something that doesn't exist anymore. And that the only thing that exists is the official narrative. We will literally live in 1984. People joke and say that we already do. That's the missing element, that there is no truth. We're almost there. We have to fight and make some massive changes quickly. Yeah, I don't care how you feel politically. You got to be on board that massive changes have got to be made quickly to change the progression of things, to change where things are heading, because they're heading for disaster. Where they're heading is not sustainable. It will not work out. But I talked about earlier that we would get into reality itself. So let's do that. Let's talk about that for a minute. And that can have to do with the Mandelas. Because what the Mandelas are is well, a lot of people think they're mismemory, but it's many people remembering events differently than they are actually always were. Than they always were. People remember that millions of people sometimes remember something a certain way, and it was never that way. That's what the Mandelas are, and they're very fun. But they also could be evidence that we've skipped realities. And, this is a fun topic. This is, again, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an expert on this, but it's just fun to talk about. And it is something that mainstream science discusses, the idea that we could have multiple realities, that there's multiple dimensions, there's multiple layers to reality. These are all things that they openly talk about. So it's not super crazy, even though I am the tinfoil hat guy, this is not outrageous. A lot of people believe we live in a computer simulation. So anything's possible in that scenario. Absolutely anything's possible in a scenario where you live in a computer simulation. So the Mandelas could be a result of a lot of different things. I think Project Bluebeam's very interesting, Slice. We can get into that. I do know a little bit about Bluebeam, but I think that we are being manipulated. That's what I think. I think that they're somehow tampering with reality. I don't know what they're doing. I think maybe something to do with the things happening at CERN, but that's from a layman's perspective based on what I know of CERN. And most of it's swayed by how fucking creepy CERN is. They are so creepy. Look into that. Look into the history of CERN being into demonic stuff and into weird ceremonies. And they got a lot of creepy going on around them. And their mascot is Shiva, the god of destruction. It's just real weird. Who knows? Who knows what's causing it? But I think something is because a lot of these Mandelas, I believe them. I believe that they weren't that way. Like one for me is the Berenstain Bears. They say it's the Berenstain Bears. It was not. It was the Berenstein Bears because I never knew how to pronounce it. If it was the Berenstain Bears, I would have known. This is a book I learned. These book series I learned to read on. I know that it was the Berenstain Bears because I never knew how to say it. I never knew if it was Steen or Stein. I would have known how to say Stain, so I know that's not what it was. Slay says they say they want to use it to trick us into believing we're going to have an invasion. That's along the lines of what I was talking about earlier. We can change gears and get into that because I think they will disclose UFOs, but it's not going to be UFOs. In the way we think of UFOs, it's not necessarily going to be aliens. It's not going to be exactly what they're telling us. I think that these creatures live amongst us already and have for a long time. We can get into what I believe they are, but I don't believe that they're aliens. I believe what they're going to show us is something else, but they will eventually show it to us. I think that everything's pointing in that direction, that that's where this is heading, towards some kind of a disclosure event. But Bluebeam would be able to be used. What Bluebeam is a holographic program. Like I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it, but the ability to project things and that appear real, and that they could use this to psychologically win wars, win battles, fool people into believing that things are happening that aren't really happening. And you could do literally anything with that kind of technology. So it is proposed that what they're going to do with that technology is to pull off this alien encounter that they've been talking about since Reagan. How an alien invasion would bring all of humanity together and would be the thing that could drive us forward and help move humanity forward, etc., etc., etc. Move them towards their one world government, their one world agenda. And people think that Bluebeam might be the weapon that they'll use in this deception that's going to happen. But I'm not so sure that they don't have the technology to pull off the deception. That maybe these crafts that exist that are UFOs that we deal with and see already and have sightings of are some of the things that are going to be used in the deception. Who knows? But they could definitely use something like Project Bluebeam. Have you seen these circuses now that exist that are just holograms? There was an interesting video, look this up, of a Korean baseball game, and there's a dragon that flies through the stadium. It's creepy shit. This dragon looks real. And it's not a video trick, it's in the stadium. The people in the stadium are seeing this dragon. It's flying around the stadium. It's a hologram. That's crazy. And think of what else they can do. They don't show you everything that they got. They're not going to ever show you their hand completely. So you got to imagine, what else is there? What else can they do? What is there that we don't know about? What's going on that's being hidden? When what's out in the open is stuff like this, stuff like circuses that the animals aren't real. They're holograms. Dragons flying around baseball stadiums that aren't even there. Interacting with the environment, interacting with the big screen and the structures and all of that in a way that looks real. It's fascinating because you have to think of the possibilities. The fact that that exists proves that it could be used for something. And if something can be used for something, it probably is. You know, it's just naive to think that it would exist and not be used. But I'm interested in hearing what you think. I want to hear from you and let me know what you've got to say and what you think about this stuff. I just realized what might have been holding people back on Facebook. In their new little layout, you have to select comment moderation. I had not done that, so nobody on Facebook was able to comment, but now I did. So I got it set to discussion. You should be able to talk now. Sorry about that, but that was my fault. And that could be a reason why we didn't get much attention, but a big reason is that we're being throttled heavily, heavily throttled. Really bad. I've gotten to where I don't even share on Facebook anymore, really. I share a little bit. I used to share a lot more, but I hardly do at all now. I share my shows a little bit, um, not anywhere near the level I used to, but just enough to get them out, and hardly share my own stuff, personal stuff, to Facebook at all. I'm getting very frustrated with it, but I can't stop using it. You know, you can't do what I'm trying to do and isolate yourself from platforms like Facebook and YouTube. You need them. So unless I want to go to a different direction and do like internet radio, or get a site like Alex Jones, like InfoWars, and run my own website, but I don't really know how to do that, the technical aspects of it, and I could probably find help setting it up, but I don't know. I don't know really what direction we're going to head in. It's kind of scary when you think about it, where it's heading. You know, we're heading for the death of truth. I am of the belief that we'll correct course, that you can only back people into a corner for so long before they fight back. We will rise up. I think it's happening right now. So I have confidence that that's going to happen, that humanity is going to self-correct, and that we won't allow this greed to destroy us. But they are trying to destroy us. They're trying to take all they can and suck it all up, and until they're done, till there's nothing left to take. They'll never be satisfied. They'll never stop. They'll never reach their fill. They have to be stopped. And we have to be the ones that stop them. We have to stop them by taking ownership of the situation and realizing that it's our responsibility to do something about this, to make this change happen. That we have to do it. No matter how you do it, as long as you're fighting, as long as you're spreading the truth, you're fighting. Because waking people up to what's going on, that's going to be how we win. That's how this happens. That's how we win this. I'm trying so hard to catch that thing. That's how we win this. It's what we do. It's that simple. You know, those that lord over us are few. They're not the many. We are the many. We are the strong. We've let them convince us that we're weak, and that's allowed them to put us in this situation that we're in, but we can get out of it just by realizing that we can do something about it, just by that, and taking ownership and moving forward and doing all that we can. So we got to wake people up. Slay says it has a big audience, but we need a new platform. We absolutely need a new platform. But they're doing all they can to stop that. Don't think they're not. Don't think that there hasn't been better ideas that have come along in the time that Facebook's been around that haven't been squashed or shut down. They have their status and they're protected because they're so government friendly, so friendly to controlling the narrative, to doing the bidding of the powers that be. And I know Zuckerberg didn't create Facebook. Zuckerberg stole Facebook. You know, this is an interesting topic that we could get into on conspiracy theories and chill. I've been looking into it. Um, there's evidence that Facebook was actually around before Facebook was introduced to us, and was a weapon. I forget what it was called, but existed. It was a military DARPA weapon, and Facebook launched the same month that this weapon ended, supposedly ended. The project was shut down the same month that Facebook began. And Mark Zuckerberg is just a face. And Slay says you can tell in court hearings he's under MK Ultra. He's very robotic for sure. Now he could be heavily socially awkward, but a better answer that makes more sense is that he is under control. He is a front man for Facebook, and Facebook is literally a weapon and always has been. And that would be an interesting topic that we could get into on a conspiracy theories and chill coming up. But let me know anything that you would like to see us get into. You little bastard. It's like he knows. He just gets right in my eyesight, and I try to fight him. I try to ignore him, but he knows. and I think he works for the man. I'm starting to think that it's actually a little drone, one of those little micro drones, and that it's videotaping me. I don't really think that, but that would be interesting. That's kind of something crazy that they probably have little gnat-sized drones that videotape crazy people while they sit and do live feeds and talk to other crazy people. But are we crazy? Who's crazy? Who's really crazy? We're like the same people in the nut house. Ugh, you little bastard. See him right there. He's flying right in front of my nose. I don't know if you can see that. He's driving me insane. And that's what he's for. That's what he's for. He's a weapon. He's a weapon from the powers that be. But no, Zuckerberg, I don't think Zuckerberg had very much to do with creating Facebook. They say he stole it in that movie, The Social Network or whatever. What was that movie? Where they say they stole it from his friend, and that's possible. But I think it's more possible that he was just given it, you know, just made the face of it so that they could do things that they're doing right now behind hiding behind the protections of a corporation, of a private company, instead of a government entity. They can do so much more as a private company and do so much more damage, and they have so much more potential. So it just makes sense. Slay says, eat him. I'm gonna eat him. I'm gonna catch the little bastard and I'm gonna train him. I'm gonna get him to do my bidding. You know what I'm saying? And get him to bother people that I have a problem with, that I don't want talking and I don't want spreading information. The Social Network, yes, that movie. And they get into how he stole it off his partner. But I'm interested in this other theory that it was actually a weapon before he ever had it and it just was rebranded. So that's an interesting theory that we might get into in an upcoming Conspiracy Theories and Chill. Actually, I'm going to make sure I do that. I'm going to write that down for one that we need to get into later on. So we'll do that one for sure. Maybe that'll be the week after. We kind of did it briefly, but in a Conspiracy Theories and Chill recently, but I'd like to do a better video on it. I'm going to redo a couple videos. I've learned a lot over time and I've improved a lot of things. So I'm nervous about relaunching the Titanic video because it's my most popular video on the YouTube channel. It has almost 50,000 views, which is very big for my channel. My channel's still a baby. We have almost 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there, but we're not quite to 1,000 yet. We're just growing. So that's a lot for my channel, by a lot. It's my biggest video by a lot almost. The only one that's bigger than that is a Mandela video that has 68,000 views. So other than that, it's my biggest video, and they're my biggest by far. So I'm scared to remake it because lightning is never going to strike twice. And I put so much more work into this second version of the Titanic video that I'm going to be disappointed when it doesn't take off. But it'll be cool. I want it to exist because it's such an interesting story. And the story is that they swapped the two ships, the Olympic and the Titanic, and that the Olympic is actually at the bottom of the ocean, not the Titanic. So I made a new video on that story. I already have one on the channel. You can check it out. But I made a new one, and it will bring new things to the table if you've already seen the other one. So tune in next week to Conspiracy Theories and Chill, and we'll air the new Titanic video and get back into the Titanic swap story. But I am working on a title for the video. I want a good title. I'm terrible at titles. So if you can think of a good title for the Titanic swap video or for the Jason's video, I would really appreciate it. Somebody creative out there that's good with titles. So they say that titles are very important to getting views. And that would explain a lot because I know I'm horrible at it. So that would explain why I'm not getting the views that I want because I'm not using creative enough titles. But Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and talking for a little while. This is Research Day, and like I said, I plugged away. I've already finished 2 videos. Well, I haven't finished the Titanic video, but I'm halfway done. And I wanted to talk to you guys. I wanted to hang out with you for a little while. Slay says, I've seen a video of someone in the army who's been to a base in the mountains, and each level of the base has a different race of alien. Send me that. There's a lot of interesting stuff. There is a base that I've covered. What is the name of this base? My mind is betraying me today. But it exists, and hopefully it'll come to me while I'm telling the story. But there's a video like that, maybe the same army base or military base where this happened, something very similar to what you're describing. So it could be the same thing. But that would be interesting. I would love to see that because I had heard about that video, and I would definitely love to see that. But we do need a new platform. We do need someone to rise up in this place. It would have to be a billionaire that is a philanthropist and wants to protect the truth, because anything else isn't going to get past the establishment protection system. I think Facebook and Zuckerberg is protected. And I think Twitter falls into the same category, and so is YouTube and Google. I think they have protected status so that they can better control the narrative and better control what gets out. That's my theory. That's my imagination of what they've done with this system, how they've gotten it to where it is. They own it. We all know that 6 corporations own it all. They can definitely manipulate it, and it's foolish and naive to believe that they wouldn't. Why would they buy it all up and have ownership of it to not use it when it has the potential that it has? Of course they use it. Of course it's used for evil. It's just naive to think that it's not. But what do you guys think about the simulation theory, for example? Is that something you'd like to see in an upcoming Conspiracy Theories and Chill? Do we even understand reality? What do you think? So the more I look into it, the more I look into the simulation theory and anything to do with our understanding of reality, I am led to believe more and more that we don't understand it at all. It's weird. The more I learn, the less I think I know. But I think that's true. I think everyone experiences that the more you inform yourself, the more you realize you don't know all these other things. That you find one thing and you're like, okay, now I got to learn 6 other things to understand that thing. And it's a fantastic journey, but informing yourself is fun. We need to help people realize that. It's scary at the same time. I realize that, but it's fun, and it's challenging, and it's getting harder to do. But it is something that the better you do, the better you inform yourself, the better you'll be able to spread the truth and wake other people up, because we're going to have to be more gentle with our approach of how we wake them up. How we go about it and the ways that we do it. But that's what needs to happen. It's like we talked about the sheep at the beginning in the rant, and they are a problem. It is a problem. We need to fix it. But we're going to fix it by waking them, informing them, getting enough of them on board towards moving towards real change and making things happen. And when we do that, we will be unstoppable. There will be literally nothing that they can do to stop us or stand in our way. And that's where we're heading. I really think that we are. I think that there's an awakening happening. And we will come together and we will do what needs to happen to stop this. I have to. Otherwise, I just would sit in the corner in the dark, rocking back and forth, talking about how doomed we are. I have to be of the idea that we're going to be able to make something happen here and make real change. But we'll talk about that more tonight on the Daily Burn. Come back at 7 for that. and we'll get into the Daily Burn and talk about this revolution that's happening right now in this country and what you can do to be a part of it and help move it forward. But this has been the Yankee Show, and I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me and talking and having a discussion today. But let me know if there's anything you want to get into, anything you want to discuss before we wrap up. Because I've went through my notes. I've thrown out the topics that I wanted to see if you'd like to hear about on Conspiracy Theories and Chill coming up, because that was kind of the sub reason for doing this, was to get your input on some topics to cover. Because I make these videos for you guys. I want you to like them. I want you to watch them so you'll come back and watch more. That's the idea. So let me know what you want to see. Let me know what kind of stuff you'd like to see covered. And we will cover it coming up in upcoming shows. Because I'm always looking for new ideas for things to do and videos to make. So let me know anything you'd like to see. Slay says teach your kids to question everything. Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen to everything, believe nothing. Question everything. Question literally everything. Even things you hear from people you trust. Question it. Check it out. Make sure before you own it as truth. Question everything, literally. And this is the age of deceit. So it's very important that you open your eyes and you move forward with that knowledge that you are living in an age of lies and deceit. People are trying to misdirect you. We have to fight back against that, and the way that we fight back against it is with the truth. With spreading the truth and doing all that we can to move this forward towards something better. And we're going to do it. That's the upside. And we'll get into that tonight at 7. But come back to the Daily Burn tonight, and come to Conspiracy Theories and Chill tomorrow at 8. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you on the next feed tonight at 7. Daily Burn. Come back later. See you then. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.